The OG mode has failed. With the decrease in player count only getting larger and the overwhelming bots in each game, what happened to bring what once was the biggest and best chapter of Fortnite's history down to a 30k player count graveyard mode? Let's get into it. Early last year in December, we got the return of what once was considered the best and most amazing mode of Fortnite and the most amazing map, chapter, OG. We got the return of OG, the crown jewel of Epic Games, the prominent figure of what Fortnite stood for, with the initial season starting with season 1, and we would see every season throughout the whole chapter this whole year. With the release of the OG mode, we got crazy promotions from Sketch, Kai Cenat, big creator names, huge promotions going on for the season. Trailers were everywhere. The way the game worked was everywhere. We saw the return of OG skins, the Renegade Raider, Air Assault Trooper, new Battle Pass remake. Everything looked good. Everything looked fun. It looked like Fortnite was back, and we finally were going to experience what many people would consider the peak seasons of Fortnite. But this is where the first issues arise. See, back in the day, Chapter 1, Season 1, we didn't know what we were going to get. We didn't know what Fortnite was about. It just felt different with cartoony graphics, guns that we've never experienced, and Chapter 1, Season 1 was what we first started with. And to us back in the day, everything was crazy. Updates were everywhere. The map was fun. It was awesome, but that was almost 8 years ago now. And we've already lived through countless seasons, countless updates, new content, and to be dwindled back down to what many people consider the most bare bones map and season was never going to work. Going from this to this, for many newer players, even older players that already adjusted to how the new metas and the new way the seasons work, just didn't feel right. It was entertaining, it was fun for the first, I'd say, 2 weeks. Once that third week came around, there really wasn't much going on with the season and with the chapter, and with lack of updates, they were really only adding in things like revolvers and boogie bombs, which we've already used multiple and hundreds of times. There was nothing new, and it didn't change for the last 2 or 3 months. Season 2, we got the introduction of Tilted Towers and the updated revamped map. That was it. Besides a couple other items introduced, things like miniguns and minis, shield pots, slurp juices. Everything else was basically the same as Chapter 1. And not to mention that all of these two chapters, which considered the most bare bone chapters, have been the longest. They've been the longest chapters of all of OG. And now, April 4th, we're living through Season 3, which I can admit, it does feel much more entertaining and fun, but it's still boring. Why is this? What changed from a couple years ago to now? What became of Fortnite's OG crown jewel mode down to what we consider the boringest mode in current up-to-date Fortnite? Well, like I mentioned earlier, not only have we already relived this, we've already been through this whole chapter season. We know what's going to happen. We know what's going to get added. We know the weapons that are coming. We know the map changes that are coming. Everything is already in our brain. Why is it so boring? If we had so much fun back in the day, why now is it so boring? Even if you don't like to admit it, what we've gotten in Fortnite's history, from cars, mobility, different modes of transport, different modes of rotation, mythics, weapons, all of it, we've just grown accustomed to. We are not used to the bare bones layout of what Fortnite once was, because we've gotten so much different in variety of updates, new items, collabs, whatever it is, so much different stuff in Fortnite that we do not care about Season 1's items anymore. Which is crazy to say, because for so many years, people wanted to return to the OG map, feel it, experience it once more, and, really the spark that it once had. And really quickly, I want to bring up the argument about what happened last year, or 2 years ago now, I'd assume. The first release of OG, which many would consider was very successful, did its thing, did a great job. Why did this one succeed so much compared to what we've recently gotten? And it's all because of time. We had the Season 1 OG mode really for about a month or two before they took it away from us again. So we had time to experience everything, the updates and all of that. We didn't have as much time to experience it all as we do now, which is why I think Fortnite should have done something similar with Fortnite nowadays, with reload, ranked reload, different speeds of maps. Our attention spans are literally just like TikTok. If there's not constant action happening, constant looting, chaos going on, we don't tend to stick around. We get bored quickly. That's just how it is nowadays. And with OG, they left us on the most bare bones maps in Fortnite's history, with lack of new content, the same old weapons we've had, which is great. It's awesome, but we were just on there for too long. We were on Chapter 1, Season 1 for about, a month and a half to 2 months. No one's surviving that. And because of this, we saw a huge decrease in player counts from 150,000 now to a dwindled number of 30k a day. Insane. And let's not even bring up the non-existent mode of ranked OG. There's like 2,000 people playing. The hype is dead. Lack of updates killed it. Lack of progression through the seasons quickly killed it. So now we're here April 5th. with an empty OG mode with no players and wondering how Epic Games is going to pump life back into what once was the best gaming experience. All right, really quickly, that was fun. If you guys do like this type of content, I want to make more stuff like this. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about the video and what you think about Fortnite's OG situation. I'll be back again next week. See you guys later.